Welcome to this Times Techies webinar. I am Sujit John and I have with me my colleague Akhil George. The two of us will moderate this discussion that we are having in partnership with IBM. And we're going to discuss how GenAI can be leveraged for innovation and growth in India's banking sector. The whole world is once again abuzz with GenAI. Reminds me of the time when ChatGPT came out in late 2022. And then it was like, wow. And now DeepSeek has brought a new level of excitement.
Right.
Already, organizations across the world are leveraging GenAI to transform processes, improve efficiencies, and elevate experiences. It is being used to automate content creation, streamline customer interactions through AI-driven chatbots, and optimize supply chain operations. These are reducing costs and improving turnaround times. Today, we will discuss GenAI and its significance for India's banking industry, as well as discuss the roadmap for Indian organizations' GenAI journey. And for this, we have with us two very seasoned professionals. We have with us Shiv Kumar Bhasin. Mr. Bhasin is Chief Transformation Officer at IndusInd Bank. He has over 27 years of experience and has successfully managed change and overseen functions for large-scale platform businesses in Fortune 500 financial services companies. He has held leadership roles with NSE, the National Stock Exchange, SBI, and global positions with Barclays Bank, Fidelity Investments, Hughes Networks, and Parametric Technology Corporation. Mr. Bhasin is also a member of customary advisory boards for Gartner, Experian, Oracle, and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, where he contributes his insights and expertise. Really nice having you on this platform, Mr. Bhasin. Welcome.
Thank you, Sujit. Thanks for inviting me. It's a great, privilege to be on this platform. And I think it's going to be a quite encouraging discussion on we can say the keyword of the, today's last 4 or 5 years of the era, basically, the GenAI.
Really exciting times.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Bhasin.
We also have Rishi Aurora with us. Rishi has been on this platform multiple times. He is managing partner for IBM Consulting India and South Asia. He leads the organization's strategy and go-to-market. He has over 25 years of experience. In his most recent years, Rishi provided advisory and solutions to India's financial services industry and have transformed several major banks and financial institutions into future-ready organizations. He has now been with IBM for more than 3 years. Welcome, Rishi.
Hey, thank you for having me again. Look forward to this discussion, yeah?
Excellent. Those who are viewing this can send in questions through the Facebook comment box. Sujit and I will put them to Bhasin and Rishi. Bhasin, maybe we can start with you. Banking is one of India's most fundamental and core industries with all the technological advancements that has happened. Can you give a quick glimpse into 2 to 3 major changes that GenAI is bringing into your sector?
See, GenAI is one area which is, I think, a common use case across multiple organizations, that we moved a lot of the mundane queries to the bots, whether those were the corporate websites or they were the internet banking or mobile banking kind of a channel applications. The bots were there. But most of those bots were, servicing the customers with a fixed set of questions and answer or fixed set of the responses. While GenAI, brings that, the kind of a dynamism where if you train the GenAI bot better, it can, kind of a tweak the response to the near, human customer service representative. And that kind of a dynamic response, which is suiting to the individual customer requirement. So in the service level of the bots or experience of the bot-based services, which are the mundane kind of queries, the GenAI, has brought a better improvement in that. Number one, and that many organizations are working on that. The second major area have been the analytics. The analytics area where whether it is to do with the fraud analytics, whether the credit risk appraisal systems areas, or the campaign managements, or the campaign responses which are being received, where the GenAI gets used to improve the sharpening the campaigns, parameters, so that you can service or run the campaign, or your campaign is addressing the right customer at a right time with the right product, or right customer service. So that sharpening the focus of the campaigns, or sharpening the focus of the service level, or attracting the more cross-sell, upsell, where the percentage of a cross-sell, upsell with the campaign versus the success ratio of the campaign improves. So these are the prominent in analytics use cases have been for Gen AI. The other Gen AI use cases which have been emerging is especially in the back office operation centers, where it is to do with the various services where emails based services are there, or some kind of a messenger based or WhatsApp based services are there. So the AI bots are responding to the customers much better, much faster, with a greater quality of the responses, with the more accurate responses as well. We have seen that is another area where that is bringing the much better response. That's other in the contact center is another big area where, in terms of when the humans are interacting with the customer, what have been the conversation tone, as well as the call quality, as well as the customer sentiments analysis, the how the human call center executive have responded well, and overall after that, finally the call summarization, because the call center executives also keep taking the notes, and other tools keep helping them to record this conversation. But the quick call summarization completely done, and then bringing the multilingual aspects onto these conversations. So these are I will say, the key use cases where Gen AI is helping out the masses. And in the IT world as well, in terms of the various code quality, in terms of coding practices as well, Gen AI tools have been somewhat helpful. So DevSecOps is another big area where they are getting leveraged now, as well in the development scope. So I would say there is a further more scope, but these are the areas also need further more refinement with Gen AI. And as Gen AI is getting much more better, and now this probably DeepSeek coming up with a better, probably the infrastructure stack. And as we understand the quality of the DeepSeek, I think it opens up the enormous scope, and I think it will be a thing to see that how the GPU versus the less cumbersome tech compute stack would be able to help us out. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting space, because at some point in time in past, you would have seen that many companies have come up with their AI based frameworks, and at some point in time they worked very well, but then various open source frameworks have come in, which those products have fizzled out. So technology is very, very dynamic area. As we saw the blockchain era, AI era, now Gen AI era. So maybe I think slowly we will find as well Gen AI becoming first generation, second generation Gen AI, third generation Gen AI. So all those things may come up.
Probably have a little more discussion later on the DeepSeek part of it, how the impact it might have. But before that, Mr. Bhasin, the various areas that you mentioned, customer, the able better responses, analytics, contact center, code quality, etc. Your implementations that you've done, where have you seen the best implementations, best responses from Gen AI?
So Gen AI actually for us has helped in two areas predominantly. We have used in one area for the code quality and code migration, legacy code migration to modern or technology A to technology B code migration. So we have used in the development, and there we have found the entry level programmers or the or we can say the level 1 to level 3 programmers really use these tools very well, and they like it. But once it goes to level 4 or 5 kind of programmers, they don't find it any good. So a lot of people initially, when they are upgrading their skills, so they use them very effectively. And but the experienced programmers don't like these tools actually.
They think they are better than GenAI in some sense, is it?
Yes, because see, there is a whatever one in the greenfield programs, it is very good. But when it comes to the brownfield or something like legacy programs, especially legacy technologies, so Gen AI tools may not be able to, like most of the legacy technology programs or the already existing products which are using little latest technologies as well. They're also, you're either doing some of the code enhancements, functionality enhancements, or defect fixes. So it gives you multiple options. So you need to understand as well, the kind of a entire program or entire product for which you are trying to do the defect fix or CR or change, and that very few people have. And that's where it gives you, throws you 4 options or multiple options it throws in front of you, and you may end up selecting the wrong option sometimes, and you end up doing more work to fix, rather than experienced programmer can fix the same thing in 3 lines of code, while with Gen AI you are debugging the program, and it is taking a long time to get the defect fixed. But we have used it, another very big area successful, we have found it very, very good in the prompt engineering. So we have used the prompt engineering for legacy code migration to a modern code technology migration. So we had some legacy programs in like a stored procedures kind of programs, and those get migrated to Python or other modern database interactive programs and all. And there we found some of these tools like ChatGPT, OpenAI, or Microsoft Copilot. Some of these tools working very well, and like ChatGPT having as good accuracy as 95-96%. So these tools have really helped us to, like, when we look at the effort estimation is taking 7 to 8 months, while this has brought down the whole thing to 1 month. Although when we really do it, we could do it in like couple of hours, like 7-8 hours, 7-8 months of work could do it in 7-8 hours. But when you do this entire development process, you have to follow the code quality. You have to follow that SI, means the various testing cycles, and then you say yes, now the code is ready. So testing cycles, if you put together all, so 7-8 months got reduced to 1 month.
My God.
So it's helping you modernize. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah. Means modernizing the legacy code to the modern code. So that's where I find that particular journey, very helpful, where the accuracy was very, very high. For we don't need to rewrite some plumbing code too much into this, not more than 5-6%.
There are a lot of banks in India, right? Even smaller banks that would find that very useful, who might need to update their systems. This could be very useful for them.
Yes, as I said, that it is a case to see. That's where I said prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is a skill. So like going back to the thing, or various editorials or various, media, in, social medias and other forums, white papers, people have been talking about, Gen AI will threaten the jobs of the people. So it is not the case. So the case is, there is a new job opportunity in terms of learning prompt engineering. So if you know how to leverage the Gen AI rightly, you can transform or you can move from legacy to the modern, with a greater accuracy. So it is a skill as well to how to ask, what to ask, how much parameters you should put in a question to ask so that it can give you the right or more accurate responses. So that is also an art or skill, and that is where I think I'm saying that probably our team had a two things, like we had a similar pattern across that code base which we tried to move, where we got very high accuracy. Number one. The second is the skill of the people who were doing this prompt engineering was very good, so they did ask the right question, and the Gen AI framework, offered the right solution.
Yeah, so it's not that simple, basically.
Yeah,
You have to learn that skill, and then you can
right.
leverage the skill.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we'll come back to more of those examples that you gave, Mr. Bhasin. But before that, Rishi, tell us, I mean, you interact with a lot of CXOs who are implementing Gen AI. Give us an idea. I mean, what are they thinking? What kind of implementations are working well?
So, Shiv sir already spoke about the real use cases of Gen AI, right? He spoke about the customer engagement part. He spoke about a big use case on IT modernization or app modernization and applicability of Gen AI, right? So yes, the use cases are happening. If I just go back, yeah, if I just go back, you asked me about adoption, basically. Is Gen AI really being adopted? Right? If I go back to 2023 or early 2024, right? What we were discussing at that point of time with organizations was proof of concepts, right? What area will Gen AI really give them any benefit? But when we talk to our customers now in 2025, I think the era of proof of concepts is over. We are getting into real deployments, right? So there is nothing, the hype is basically getting converted into how, right? There was hype about Gen AI, but how are we now going to kind of get started on the journey? The pilots are getting converted into production. How do we see these real use cases in production? Experimentation, which was really happening, right, for a few years, experimentation is now getting converted into deployments. If I talk about, the APAC AI Outlook 2025, right? The amount of time which we spent on these Gen AI use cases, what was the outcome which was achieved through these pilots? What was the outcome? I would, if I have to summarize it in one word, I would say confidence. And I will just elaborate on it. Why confidence? See, when you embark on these small programs, right, you give a chance to your organization to understand the real benefit and the true potential of what Gen AI can actually deliver. So these POCs or these small programs have given the organizations the confidence, and they have realized what benefits Gen AI programs can actually deliver to them. What we are seeing in the market today is that Gen AI is moving from, small non-core function deployments to core function deployments, to deployments which have a real impact on business. And why are they moving to core functions? Because organizations and CXOs have realized that Gen AI can give them real benefit, real ROI, can give them a real competitive advantage. And I purposely use the word real many times. Yeah. See, so so when we talk
What are
about
these core
GenAI,
areas? Core areas would be some examples.
core areas would be business operations, core areas would be customer engagement, areas which are actually revenue enhancing for your organization. See, there are, if you just imagine, there is GenAI can be adopted in the customer space, it can be adopted in operations, it can be adopted in finance, it can be adopted in HR. But at the heart of it is what? At the heart or at the center of it is Gen AI there has to be an ROI. ROI can be in terms of revenue enhancement, ROI can be in terms of cost reductions, ROI can also be in terms of customer experience, right? There has to be a measurable ROI. And then you embark on those, Gen AI pursuits. Again, if I have to talk about adoption, right? And if I look at the AI adoption index per se, we do a lot of surveys, right? Adoption index, when we talk, and closer to home, when we talk to organizations in India, 59% of these organizations have already embarked on Gen AI program, and this number is much higher than organizations in various other countries. Basically, about in countries where we have done these surveys. So India, I believe, is on the right path for adoption of Gen AI solutions. What are these solutions? What are these use cases? Shiv sir already spoke about some of them. If I can just elaborate a bit, right? There are use cases around basically customer engagement, customer support, customer management. So basically the customer use case. There are use cases around, Shiv sir again spoke about, fraud, right? There are huge use cases around risk and compliance, specifically if I consider a regulated industry like banking, right? If you look at the regulator, right, the requirements of TAT, and Shiv sir, I'm sure will agree with me, the TAT requirements from our regulator, they want a response pretty quickly and fairly so, right?
Yeah.
So there are big use cases around, risk and compliance. There is a definite use case in IT modernization or modernization. There are use cases around, HR. There are use cases around F&A, finance and accounts. So basically, I see use cases of Gen AI across businesses, across, enterprise slash support functions in an organization. Let me give you a few examples, right? Uh, Let me give you an example of a British bank, right? When we talk about customer service, we talk about a lot of engagement which is happening through virtual SS, basically the customer support part, right? But let me just talk about the outcome which was delivered, right? So this bank was an early adopter of the customer engagement piece of Gen AI, right? The analyst's productivity, like I said, there is a lot of interaction. You have to, there is a lot of data involved, right? The analyst productivity was improved 99.9%. Basically, from 12 weeks to about 4 minutes per se, right? That is the productivity. That is the gain with Gen AI can
This would be
actually give
analysts.
you.
What analysts would these be?
These analysts are analysts basically when you are interacting with customers and there are a lot of queries which are kind of coming in, you need to identify and pinpoint the root cause, right? So the amount of time the analysts, and just imagine when you are a bank, you have so many, kind of queries coming in, so many, so much of data which is kind of, coming in, right? So from 12 weeks to 4 hours is what the productivity improvement was for these analysts. Let me give you another use case again in the banking industry. And if you want, I can also talk about the non-banking industry, but let me talk about banking. A European bank, right? And Shiv already spoke about the Indian bank, but a European bank, and again, IBM was, involved in this, the developer productivity. Shiv sir spoke a lot about how GenAI can be used in the IT function of any bank, and IT, right, like he rightly said, is at the heart of any banking function or operations today, right? So the developer productivity by adopting or implementing GenAI solutions was improved by 30%. And what I'm talking about is these are live cases, these are data, these are programs which have been, which have been delivered by IBM, right? So Gen AI can actually leapfrog. It's not about incremental anymore. It is about leapfrogging, right? The competitive advantage or the benefit which you can get is many folds, right? So it's about leapfrogging. It's no more about being incremental. I will just give you one, I can give you a couple of examples closer to home in the non-banking industry, right? If you look at our country, India, there is a lot of consolidation happening in the cement industry today, right? We work with a lot of cement organizations in the country, right? So a lot of consolidation happening in the cement industry. And what does this result to? So this organization, this cement industry, this cement organization who we were working with, they were basically, facing some production deviations in their plants because of these, various consolidations which have happened. Production deviations means it impacts your plant operations, right? Plant operations getting impacted, huge cost escalations, right? Some small bit, some downtimes being involved. And if how a cement plant really operates, right? You cannot, this disruptions can take away your competitive advantage, right? So by implementing Gen AI solutions for this cement on our platform, IBM, we have our own Watson X platform on our, on our platform, basically to automate the root cause analysis. So root cause was basically to find out why these deviations are there. A lot of data involved, data ingestion, data storage, right? So a lot of data involved. By implementing our own Watson X platform, we could get down the RCA from several hours to about 5 minutes. Yeah. And what does this mean is basically normalizing the outcome, is basically normalizing the plant operations again, right? So Gen AI has some real benefits, some real, use cases in the industry. There is also a question of, adoption. You talk to me about adoption of Gen AI, right? So how are organizations embarking on Gen AI program? How successful or not successful are they? See, it really depends on, it depends on three factors according to me. One, obviously it depends on, it depends on budgets, right? The budgets need to be there to train your people. The budgets need to be there to, implement, solutions slash technology. So one is basically the client budget. Second is the industry which you are operating in. For example, if you are operating in an industry which is highly regulated, right? It may kind of impact the tact for your Gen AI adoption, right? So I spoke about the budgets. I spoke about the industry in which you are operating in. I will also talk about the maturity of an organization, right? Some organizations, are reaping benefits from the AI programs which they have implemented in the previous years, right? So they are on that journey. But some organizations who are implementing, like Shiv sir said, right? He's already embarked on this Gen AI journey, right? But some organizations are already embarking on these Gen AI journeys, and there is a clear ROI for those organizations to be had. So basically, maturity of the organization, the industry, regulated or not so regulated industry, and basically client budgets. These three factors impact the adoption of, of Gen AI in, in organizations. I would just summarize like that.
Okay, excellent. Mr. Shiv, maybe you can help us understand uh, what advice would you give to companies that are embarking on the journey, on their Gen AI journey for innovation? And what role has companies like IBM also played for this?
See, I think again, the people have to identify the journeys. Any kind of a transformation you go with, whether it's a digital transformation or GenAI is also a kind of a digital transformation. So you need to identify what are my key journeys where they seem to be more repetitive tasks and or more routine tasks where more or less kind of a trivial questions are being asked or trivial problems I'm trying to solve. So why don't I put them into the bucket of Gen AI or automation? Like normally you do automation, right? So but Gen AI is giving a superlative experience over the standard automations, which there are various automation tools have been available all across. Various workflow tools have been available. But what happens to these workflows or these tools, which like I will give you one example in this case, further adding to my previous list of examples. Like Rishi was talking about regulated industry. So see, regulated industries require everyone needs to be equipped with the standard operating processes and various circulars which regulators keep coming upon, various compliance circulars, internal audit circulars which keep coming in the industry. So the branch staff, the operations staff have to carry out their day job in compliant to those SOPs and compliant to those circulars. So how do they do it best? Because they are already occupied with so many things going on their plate. To bring them up to the speed, the GenAI kind of a knowledge database which we have, where GenAI bot helps them to execute their role by asking simple question which normally they would have asked from say one of their mentor. But there cannot be so many mentors, real-time mentors available to those all the time, or assistant of theirs. Everybody may not have a regulatory assistant to them while playing their day job, while the GenAI based knowledge bot can bring them up to the speed in their processes or how to serve the customer better. That is one use case. That is, then there is a another use case for while serving the customers. When you are gathering the data, you know that what are the normally like say when you are processing loan products, while you are capturing the data, and normally these are the things which get missed out while the sales teams are working with the customers. So guiding the sales teams that if you have missed out some of these data collection from the customer, these are this will there will be a multiple rounds of interaction with the customer, which will degrade the TAT of that service. So helping them as a kind of an advisory bot to them, basically assistant bot on the field, while earlier they used to just capture the data. So that is another use case which I think need to be added in that list. So the knowledge bot and a lot of branch, now you say that where have you seen it? So I have seen some of the banks have implemented their branch SOPs in this knowledge bot, and those are available to the branch staff too, because a lot of attrition is happening in the frontline staff actually. So banking industry, you will find the attrition across the industry for the frontline staff, hitting up to 30-35%. So which means that in 3 years the whole staff gets refreshed totally. While so how will you capture this knowledge actually? How will you keep that knowledge? How will you retrain them? So training costs are very high. And keeping them abreast, even if you hire experienced people, so daily the regulatory guidelines are changing. Your own banks of each bank has a different operating processes as well, with some customization. Largely simple, same, but still some customizations are there. So that is another journey. So low-hanging fruits, I think they need to really be identified and go with them early, early on. Fine tune your GenAI model, get more and more accuracy, then bring in the next set of journeys and move forward. Uh, but it should not be. I will not say that GenAI should not be a tick mark. Most of us are working in a tick mark mode, that let's just throw the code assist tool and I am GenAI compliant, because just I have to put in some of the offsite in the bank or some kind of a management meet or board meeting. I have to say that, okay, I have done the GenAI as well, and I have given the code assist tool to the programmers without training them how to use them more effectively, because that is also very important. So you are given your own brain. On top of it, you have been given an artificial brain, but how to leverage it properly, I think that is most important. That is another skill as well. So people need to be trained how to use Gen AI properly. Uh, so that is the advice I will say. I think it has to be not just a tick mark, but it definitely helps the banks to improve their productivity, to improve the quality of the delivery, and to carry out the various mundane tasks. And there are some IT specific tasks as well, like in terms of, as I was saying, DevSecOps, there is also in IT infrastructure monitoring. Like today, everyone is having various monitoring tools subscription, but how to correlation, to draw and how to draw the conclusions from each of these data, Gen AI can do much better. But to define them, also we have to instruct Gen AI. So you need a right people who can configure the right amount of Gen AI model with the various sources of data which is being given to the Gen AI actually. So that is also very important. That is also a skill and art actually. But that is also a very big use case, given that plethora of tools are there. Sometimes your decisions are inconclusive, while Gen AI based model can help you to draw the quick conclusion to improve the TAT of the service level, to improve the incident closure much faster, or to be much more proactive without the incident occurring on the production. You can have a narrow escape, or you can skip. You can prevent any SEV 1 or SEV 2s in your organization altogether as well. What IBM can help, IBM consulting is really like, as Rishi mentioned about the Watson. So the IBM has been doing before pre-Gen AI as well, AI era as well, and now Gen AI with a very high parameterization and with the practical knowledge of AI, where they have dealt. See, main thing is it's a Gen AI is a experienced. How good experience you have in terms of deploying AI kind of a automation. So that is where IBM has a edge over other service providers, because they have leveraged the Watson before, and they know the pitfalls as well for those where they applied and they did not configure it properly, while Watson had much more capability, right? So they know where they can go wrong. So if you know where you can go wrong, you will not repeat that. So that is where IBM Consulting and IBM has a edge over others. And IBM has been, especially the BFSI area, whether it is a application support, infrastructure support, digital transformation, or in terms of staff productivity improvements. So I think they are working in a plethora of these journeys with the banks. So definitely, I think they can bring that distinction with the GenAI tools.
Yeah, no, IBM is an expert with BFSI. And Shiv, one more slide left. From the way you were speaking, is it fair to say that AI adoption is changing the skill requirements for employees in Indian banks? Is that
Yes. I think, see, Gen AI, for using the Gen AI, not necessarily you need to have the kind of some kind of a technical qualification, I would say.
you need a degree, not necessarily.
Yes. Okay. If we go very raw, that you don't need a technical degree, although that technical degrees have been abolished anyway, means now in the current era, that not only olden days used to be the case when I was in school, that unless you have BTech computer science, you can't get into IBM. So I think we have a bit surpassed, probably, but certain areas where such skills are required. So you need those BTech Com Science people, for the advanced engineering. I will not disagree with that, as well as for the high product engineering areas. Definitely such skills are required, and those kind of people are, but a lot of application areas may not be. So there is a that technical degree is not required, but I think definitely, when we do the, aptitude for whether it is to do with the banking PO exams, when you have seen, or when you look at the, other kind of aptitude tests which are being run internationally or nationally in various jobs, I think that logical ability, analytical ability, skills are required still for to use the AI effectively in your day-to-day job. So that much, certain level of IQ levels in those and aptitude in those is required. On savviness of, see, tech savviness, how tech savvy you are, how much you are at ease of using the technology. I think that skill is required. It is not really, I need to have those BTechs or B or MTechs from certain institutes or certain colleges. So it is not. It is like, even if you are a high school student, but you may be, very good in a tech savviness and using the AI much better. Because I have seen that a lot of people are using like AI tool for doing their vacation planning. They just know that I have to travel Europe. So, and I want to travel these three cities in Europe. How should I plan my itinerary? I can, spend 7 days. That is the money offers me, and this is the kind of my budget is there. So AI can go and tell you the entire itinerary. It can plan it. Similarly, in the banking world, if somebody is very intelligent and then he knows how to train the bot, like leveraging, they want to train regulatory bot, they want all the RBI circulars to be understood by them, and then whatever appropriate questions are being asked, it is able to ready to help you. So you can do all that. Or so there is it is just a creative mind, digital savviness, and knack to use technology and analytical skills. These are the key skills required now, actually, to be the real technology user, actually, not the technical degree.
Rishi, maybe you can help us understand what are the risks and challenges that organizations are going to face in their journeys. How can a responsible AI framework is that the solution to this?
Okay, so let me start by what Shiv sir again said, skills, right? What are the challenges or what are the risks, right? Go back a couple of years. Who was recruiting Gen AI specialists? Was there a role definition of a Gen AI specialist? The answer is no, right? So, see, having the right skills for will be key to adoption of Gen AI, right? That's most important. And what we have to realize is basically, reskilling, retraining people is both a time consuming and a cost intensive exercise, right? It's not that you can do it in a jiffy, right? So I would say the first challenge is around skills, right? The second challenge is around data, right? See, today organizations have their data all over, right? They have it in hybrid, multi-cloud, kind of environment. So, that's a big challenge organizations face. So, organizations need to have a data architecture in place, basically to leverage the true basically strength of a Gen AI platform, right? So the second challenge I would say is data. The third challenge, you have now assumed that you have adopted or you have implemented a Gen AI solution. How do you trust the output? How do you really trust the output, right? What is the basis of the output? right? See, GenAI output is on the basis of, basis of data, right? What is the provenance of data, right? So I would say trust is the third challenge, right? GenAI has to be built on trusted kind of data models, and that gets me to a responsible AI, right? See, GenAI can be scaled only if it is responsible. Otherwise, what? Otherwise, there would be questions raised around compliance, around security, around privacy. There are so many, ethical questions which, which would be, which would be raised. So, three big challenges for adoption of Gen AI: data, trust, and skills. Now, we keep doing, so let me elaborate a bit more on responsible AI, right? See, we keep doing a lot of, surveys. So, an IBM's Institute of Business Value, again, when we surveyed chief execs in India, 71% of these chief execs believe that if they have to scale AI, it has to be with AI governance. How do you govern the modules or the models which are being used? How do you manage or govern the data which is being infused in this model? So AI governance is very important. Responsible AI, I define responsible AI is equal to responsible business, right? So what is actually responsible AI? Responsible AI is nothing but a set of guidelines which you have to follow when you are embarking on a AI programs. In IBM, uh, you know, we call these guidelines pillars of trust. So let me just elaborate what are these five pillars of trust. The first, the first one is explainability, right? You should be very clear of the data which goes into your system. You should be very clear and particular of the data which goes into your into making of your algorithms, right? Explainability. What is the source of data? What is the provenance of data, right? So one is explainability. Fairness, right? AI solutions, should give an equitable response to individuals or a group of individuals per se, right? They cannot have any biases, right? So fairness is extremely important. Third, we are all living in a, we are all living in a digital world, right? So the third pillar of trust, according to me, is robustness. How will your AI solution keep scaling? How will it, how will your AI solution, manage security aspects, these attacks which, keep happening, right? So robustness becomes very important. Fourth, transparency, right? And what I mean by transparency is basically around you should be able to explain the functionality per se, right? So transparency is all about explaining the functionality, comprehend its strengths and limitations, right? So transparency. And last but not the least, according to me, is most important is privacy. See, data privacy laws are becoming more stringent in our country and all over the world. So I already said data is an integral part of any AI solution. So how do you ensure users about how their personal data will be used or and will be protected? So it's all about, it's all about privacy, right? So in IBM, we have, like I said, we have our Watson X, platform. It's IBM's next generation AI and data platform, which provides, self-service for trusted and high quality data, right? So that's how I would kind of summarize. We follow these pillars of trust. Responsible AI is something which, which we do for a living, right? It's part of our DNA in all our implementations, right? The data sets which we use or the data sets which we train on, right? follow these principles of responsible AI?
Sorry, I got logged out by my office system. There's a major migration exercise happening in the entire Times of India system. And today it was, I think we were told that today it will happen, but we were not told the time. As I was, this webinar was going on, I got to get a message saying within 120 seconds, your system will reboot.
No
I
worries.
panicked. Then I was helpless. I couldn't do anything to stop it, and it just rebooted, and I had to log in all over again for multiple things. Anyway,
No worries, yeah.
yeah, Mr. Bhasin, I just wanted to ask you. I mean, of course, Rishi spoke about responsible AI. In the banking industry, tell us. I mean, spoke about 5 pillars of responsible AI. In your experience, how important is responsible AI, the significance for the banking industry?
See, once we use, AI for the decision making, I think that is where I think we have to see we have to keep on, regular basis, rechecking or testing, that whether the decisions are being taken by AI or what part we have delegated to AI, whether that is getting, delivered, or on which the further humans are taking the final decision. The decision input which has come in from the AI part is how much unbiased it is actually, or where it is tilting towards slowly, as over a period of time. And then should we go and go back and tweak the parameters, where because sometimes it happens even in humans that suddenly there's some kind of a blind spot come in their decision making, and they end up making with kind of a like you assume some things about certain profile of people, or you become judgmental about certain profile of people. Similarly, AI models may end up, building the biases. And that is where I think you have to keep correct. And then that is another way as well, that on a sample basis at a regular intervals, or at a day-to-day, if the 75% of the applications are getting processed by AI, the 25% load is still goes to the human-based process, which was earlier being used when it was a non-AI driven, and see that, are there any unusual patterns emerging, while from the two streams, and if there are, so how to, kind of correct the model. So especially in the decision making, like credit appraisal process, is mainly, or in case of, when we were talking about, say, monitoring, which you are carrying out, or some of the, other processes like knowledge management even, as well. When we find, okay, when I ask certain types of parameters, it gives me always, a percentage of inaccurate responses. So, or percentage of only these things are coming, or certain things suddenly, as a human, I find certain aspects of the circulars are totally missed out by the AI model. When I'm doing a knowledge repository which has plethora of circulars, but there are some one or two circulars or some certain specific circulars which fall in my search criteria, but still they are getting continuously missed out by, in a fashion which AI is working. So correcting those biases, as well as but there I think you can catch it very, very fast. In like you will have, in case of monitoring, you will have an incident in spite of having AI bot, and also you will find that there is something I have to do more than the AI bot, or something I have to tweak the AI model to, because it is ignoring a few things. It has built certain biases, or it has not, it is not capturing certain aspects, or it is not able to work with the right proficiency. So you can go and tweak that actually quickly. But in terms of certain critical decision-making processes like credit appraisal system and all, I think it is sometimes becomes difficult to create the to detect the bias. And so you need a skill to identify the biases. So when you will have a the AI-based deployments, so you will require people who understand the AI and who also understand the analytics very well. And they can do the analytics in a better fashion, that AI and non-AI channels, a particular task gets done. What are the differentiations or what are the similarities in each of these things? So you will require a people of those skills. So hence the employability, or what we keep asking, I think will also grow. Definitely a lot of mundane things will go away. So like, for example, like, when few years back, um, there were no calculators. People used to write on the paper, and then they used to do all the sums and all. So a lot of the CAs might have thought that when the calculator came, that suddenly their jobs will get, sometimes, or some of those, we call it munshijis in the on the shop, small shops and all. They would have thought their jobs will go away, but it is not. It is just these tools have made them much more proficient. So same way, I think Gen AI, is going to make us much more proficient, because humans are anyway popular to first create the problems and then solve the problems and generate work for themselves. So I'm sure that these are the myths that Gen AI will take away the some of the jobs or anything like that. So responsible AI is like a problem created by the human to use AI. Now human is trying to solve the responsible AI problem. So I think this will always be the case. We will require these advanced skills, on both the sides, and use it properly.
So that level of skills of knowing AI and understanding the analytics and all that. So are you building those skills internally, or you're working with companies like IBM to build those?
So actually, right now, I don't think we are that advanced level at all. We are at a very early stage. As I said, that one is the customer service bot is the one area, code quality or prompt engineering, which are more hardcore on the engineering side. Uh, you know, and customer bots are on the customer service side, and email bot is another area we are working on, and that's where the biases and all those things may come in. So where we are not using the any of the the teams from IT partners, but what we are using, the business stakeholders who were, or the business users who were manually responding to these mails. They are deployed, that they are randomly checking every day certain percentages of the email responses. So we have created a quality team, service quality team. Those service quality teams are evaluating the bots work actually, and that's how we can improve. So that way, the one that they are also getting skilled, that how the AI is working, and working with the AI supplier or IT service providers, or within the bank staff, IT teams, that how to improve the bot to respond to various kinds of customer queries, but also they're improving the overall service levels of the bank as well now, because earlier they were all flooded with the emails, where they did not have a time to think, and they were responding to the mails. Now they are thinking that not only improving of the responses, but also why so many queries are coming. How can I reduce the number of email queries coming in? What is wrong in my product? What is wrong in my service? If I plug that hole, so number of these emails. So that higher level of thinking is coming in those teams now, actually.
Now, I know we are all out of time, but I must tell you that I'm really looking forward to those customer service bots that you're talking about. Just the other day, my wife has a credit card. I also have that same bank's credit card, not IndusInd Bank, by the way. It's another credit card that we have. And she tried the credit card in two different places, and both times it failed.
Right.
It had never done so, but this time twice it failed. So, what is the reason? And there's no explanation from the messages that the bank is sending. It's just saying it's failed, but doesn't give the reason why.
Right.
So I went to the bank's app and browser and all of that to check website to check. I thought by now there might be a chatbot where I could just say, why has this credit card failed or
Transaction
whatever.
failed. Right.
It wasn't anything as simple as that. No. I mean, you had to give some specific things, and finally, I tried multiple options. I just could not get the answer.
Yeah,
But
I think we are yet to
I guess
get
it'll
some
take time to
places.
get to those levels, I guess, right?
Yeah, you're right. I think we have yet to get to some of those levels. See, again, that is where the design comes into play. Like if you have the credit card that it queries. So I need to have a GenAI bot which has a complete access of the credit card system where it can see the transaction logs of all the real-time transactions. And I need to, train it that if the question is asked, so then it has to answer, that why the transaction has failed. So that part of the training, that part of service to be built, and this entire service design needs to be still be done to make this entire much more proficient. Because I understand, because if you go and ask from the contact center, you will go through the complex menus first, and then somebody will pick up and they will recite certain greetings for some time, and then you will get to the problem. By that time, already you have spent like 3 to 5 minutes or sometimes more, or sometimes 10 minutes or 12 minutes on the call just to talk to the right person. So then, how much time you can do, or how many days or how many times you can do this. You want that something should be quickly available, So, and then sometimes it may also happen that bank does not find anything. So it should be also intelligent to say that there might have been telecom fail, something like the POS machine did not have a good network, so it did not go through, or something like it, as well. We have to provide we have to equip it with the various kinds of intelligences as well. So if the bank has not done it, so yes, you're right. Actually, we are at early stage. To nutshell, I will say we are at quite early stage of the deploying the Gen AI based bots. It's still the name value pair or fixed question answer based bots are still very, very prevalent. Even the same people who wrote the name value pair or question answer pair kind of bots, they are just equipping the Gen AI as a tick mark. So they are not really designed the service purely Gen AI based actually. So you need to understand the concept of the Gen AI as well. How to frame the question, because the prompt engineering comes place. The person who is writing the bot, he should be expert in prompt engineering, so that whatever customers ask in a very, very raw manner, but still it is able to fit those into the right prompt to the Gen AI engine of its.
Okay. I know we are well out of time. Rishi, any final comments for the audience? And you want to say anything at all on what kind of impact DeepSeek might have?
No, I will not comment on DeepSeek. The information is just a couple of days out, but we are seeing a lot of comments already coming in, from a lot of global leaders. Yeah. But I would, what I would say is, as we move along, we will definitely see usability of Gen AI in workflows across functions, across businesses. I would just end by saying that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think the kind of use cases that are emerging is very interesting. And in some cases, of course, the actual implementation, actual use cases are already, wowing people in many ways. In enterprises, I'm sure some of these things will take time, but the kind of productivity gains and customer experiences that will happen will be just mind-blowing. Looking forward to those days. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mr. Bhasin. Thanks, Rishi, for being with us. A great discussion. I'm sure the coming year we'll have a lot more on this. Hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Sujit. Thank you,
Thank
Akhil.
you.
I think it was great interacting with you and good to know both of you. Thank you. And thank you, Rishi, for
Thank you, sir.
inviting me. I think a great conversation.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I'm also looking forward to talk to you more on the new upcoming, AI frameworks, DeepSeek,
Definitely.
and how the IBM is putting up a challenge.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.